Welcome to the blind battle of the Larceny C923 versus B523. I'm your host Sam, and this is Whisky and SV. Alright, so tonight is going to be an exciting night because I have acquired quite a few of these C923s in a bundle that I got recently, and a couple of bundles that I got recently. And I opened the first one tonight, and it just seems really good. So I started to think to myself, is this better than the 523? Now, if you remember my previous episode, I pitted the 523 against the fabled batch 922, which everyone sings the praise of. And for me, the 523 was the clear winner. So thus far, the 523 is my favorite by far. So I want to see if the the C923 can beat it in a blind battle. Without further ado, we'll go ahead and pour them. I want to keep this episode as short as possible because Lady would like to watch a movie and I need to be quick. And yeah, make sure I don't keep her up because she's going to be mad if I'm late. So, relatively small pours. This one was the 523, so just to show them, 523. It is the 523 is 124.4 proof. That's 62.2%. Well, I've made a mess here. I want to clean this up. And the previous one, I mean the current one is C923, which is 126.4 proof, 63.2%. So there's not a whole lot of ABV difference between the two. I will put number 1 as the C923, and I'll put number 2 as the B523. Okay, they are pretty identical. So here we go. Let me see. Okay, let's use our trusty turntable. Okay, so I think the 523 probably may beat the 923. From what I remember, I just remember 523 to be really great, but I could be wrong. So the 523 has now had quite a bit of time to kind of like open up. Although, you know, I haven't really drank too much from the bottle. If you look at this, you know, there's still quite a bit of it left. I have too much whiskey, and honestly, I'm not a big drinker. I mean, I'm been pretty busy at work, so it's not something that I do very often, even though I have so much whiskey. So yeah, most of my bottles, they only have like a few drams missing from them. I need to really think about a more cost-efficient way of trying new whiskeys. Okay, so let's get started. We will, as usual, nose these first, and then taste them to see which we prefer. So, okay, so you get the typical bourbon nose, which is caramel and vanilla, and then for me what makes a wheated bourbon is this kind of like herbal note that is not really like a rye note, but it reminds me of wheat. I don't know why. And I get more sort of fruity. I would say like not fruits that you would get in a Scotch, but more like kind of like processed fruits. They're quite confectionery. They're very sweet in nature. There's also a little bit of a mineral note to it. Okay, and I get a little bit of alcohol burn on this one. Okay, let's go to this second one. Quite similar. I think I get more complexity on this. I get some of the oak coming through. I get more of that fruity note. This is a little bit more muted, to be honest. Similar, I would say, definitely similar, but a little bit more muted for sure. I think the palate is where these will probably differ quite a bit. So let's go for the palate. Okay. Sometimes when I'm taking a sip, it goes directly to the back of my throat as I'm trying to swirl it, and it hits the wrong spot, and that's what just happened there. That's why you saw me almost crying. Let me try that again. Yeah, so sweet, caramel, vanilla. There is this bitter note that I get on pretty much all wheated bourbons, and it's definitely present here. It's very distinct from oak bitterness. It is a bitterness that I'm sure comes from whatever it is they put in wheated bourbons, or it's the effect of the wheat being in the bourbon, I should say. Because as you know, what makes a bourbon is the fact that more than 50% of it is corn, and then what makes it a wheated bourbon is that the secondary grain, instead of being rye, which is the usual one, is wheat, right? So yeah, so on the palate, I mean, I like this a lot. I think this bitter notes was something that I didn't enjoy so much in a lot of like wheated bourbons, but it has grown on me over time, so I actually enjoy it now. Okay, let's go for the second one. Yeah, definitely the nose is more muted on this. Palate is more closed off as well. It just doesn't have the same integration. It feels more closed off, and it feels that the tastes, the notes are not as accessible for some reason. I don't know what it is about it. I get more of that mineral note, the kind of limestone mineral note, and it just doesn't open up as much. So I wonder if that's just because, if that is the C923, that could be because it just hasn't opened up. I literally just cracked this tonight, and I've had one dram earlier, and then I'm doing this blind now. So, but yeah, if we're going, keeping in mind that this is a fresh crack, I I think this is the definite winner. So it's just yeah, more pleasant overall, more opened up, more accessible, and since there's only 1% difference in ABV, I don't think it's like the alcohol that's making a difference. It's not the strength of alcohol that's making a difference. Yeah, that's really nice. It has this like fizzy effervescence type note to it as well, kind of a feeling to it, and the oak comes out. Other than the bitterness that I get from the wheat, and I think this is just for me. I've not heard anyone else describe this bitterness in wheat. Um, I actually get like oak in this as well. Going to this one more time. Seems to have opened up a little bit more actually now, but the palate is still closed off. I get more of that mineral. Uh, it's I don't know. Like when I think about a shape, I feel like it's like pushing my tongue instead of like kind of like dissipating. It's like making my tongue close up for some reason. Um, yeah, just I don't know how to describe it, but for sure this is my favorite, and by quite a long way. So I'm guessing that this is the B523, but we'll find out. Okay, so let's do the reveal. This is number one, which was the C923. Wow. Okay, so the C923 is the new winner on the block, the new kid on the block that is the best Larceny barrel proof so far. That is surprising to me because I was really singing the praise of this B523 over the 922 of last year, and this has beaten it out by quite a long way actually. So um, yeah, surprising. I think like with Heaven Hill products, I'm finding that I like the fresh crack more than when they've been open for a while, which is bizarre. I mean, honestly, I guess I should like spend more time with Heaven Hill products. I think especially the Larceny and the Elijah Gregg Barrel Proof. I have quite a few of them, and I just haven't spent enough time as I should. They really deserve more time. And yeah, so there you have it, folks. If you're out to try one of the Heaven Hill products. I think these the C batches, both the Elijah Craig barrel proof C923 as well as the Larceny C923 appear to be at least marginally better, but I think for this one it's actually more than marginally. It's significantly better than the 523. Yes, definitely, quite a bit of difference. The nose was very similar, but the palate it was way more preferable. Okay, so there you have it. Thanks for joining, and I hope to see you next time. Take care.